am rolling.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1439, 12/5/24. 63 degrees on this day in 2001, 14 below on this day in 1873, and tomorrow we're going to have some exciting weather news for you, based on the fact that tomorrow's date marks the last 60 of the calendar year in these parts, and John Haidt is already researching his newspaper archives because of some extenuating circumstances involved with that delightful discovery. Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
Rook.
Yo.
Get up. Stand up. Will you move one of these backdrops to so I can see myself? I think. I normally
a handsome guy to your right.
I normally don't care, but the only thing people can see is Reavers.
You probably think this show is
Haidt.
about you.
That's right.
There's Kenny.
Oh,
There's Kenny.
no, I don't want to see that.
Just
fat
leave it
head.
like that. It's Kenny.
No,
it's
Joe.
Kenny, Haidt, and Reavers.
Joe, no.
Rook, you and me aren't going to be seen.
No,
There,
it is.
right there. Whoa, stop.
Just a little bit.
Go
to
back
the-
a little
other
bit.
way, other way, other
No,
way, other
no.
way. Other
Right there,
way.
right
Yep,
there.
right there.
No.
Right there. Give those three the.
There you go.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm
Reavers.
peeking over the top of your monitor.
Gross.
I had brown hair then, not gray and white.
The murder of Brian Thompson continues to lead the news, and Chris Reavers
Hi.
has some time allotted to him against my better judgment, but it's okay. He has a tinfoil hat theory. You may proceed.
I will yield the balance of no, I'm kidding. So we're all in agreement. This was a specialized, targeted attack that's well established.
I'm in agreement with that.
Isn't it funny that there's been really nothing surfacing? Yes, I know. We catch him at the feds are now investigating the hostel in which he apparently stayed at last night. He's not there. Here's what I suspect is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, because nothing is believable anymore. We live in an age and in a time where I don't believe Jack S.
Right. We also believe in a time where you can't let something be what it is, but go ahead.
Oh, that's 100% true.
Right.
Here's what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. They are going to find him, and he will probably have taken himself out.
Uh-huh.
And
Why
I'm
would
not-
that be?
Well, I'm not saying who or what is behind this assassination of Mr.
Thompson.
Thompson, thank you. I almost said Hamilton. That's not right. I'm just saying that there is a larger game being played because I'm viewing this almost through the same lens as the first assassination attempt on Trump.
Yeah.
Where that kid, he was shot and killed, and then we never heard from the family. We never heard anything about this kid, and he was immediately taken care of. Mm-hmm. And that's what I think is going to happen with this specific
Well,
case.
you haven't gotten to your theory. You didn't illustrate your theory.
That he's going to. They're going to say, well, he took himself out.
No, you still haven't gotten to it.
Well, what am I
said
missing?
He was. You said that.
Oh, that he's working for the government.
No, Thompson is scheduled to appear before the Department of Justice.
Yes, he was, and I think that he was probably going to let out some information that certain people didn't want let out, and then someone had said he needs to be taken out, and thus the killer was hired. And I'm not even trying to be silly about this. I think that's really what happened.
Okay, I know you do, and that's sad, but I don't think that.
Okay.
I disagree with you, Chris, just from what I've seen against my will of the footage of the actual murder. Number one, he wasn't even wearing gloves, and he had to cycle a couple of unfired rounds out onto the pavement. No professional would, number one, do a job like that, And number two, take a shot at a guy in the back as he's walking away.
Okay.
It'd be a face-to-face headshot.
I don't disagree with that. It was sloppy, but then what's that guy's motivation?
Well, I think reasonable speculation would be this was an act of vengefulness for possibly a loved one who died or was denied treatment or denied some experimental workup at a hospital or whatever. The insurance business is a tough business. I don't really know much about it at all, except health insurance is a big part of the American family.
Sure.
And I don't know anything about it. What surprises me is that if that was the case, how often would a CEO get involved in a specific case? In other words, those are handled by people in cubicles, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not diminishing people in cubicles. I'm just saying
That's their department.
Mrs. Smith's got a claim here, and it's handled by someone that Brian Thompson doesn't even know. So I'm surprised that. So that's a wrinkle in the speculation that this was done to avenge a loved one's loss. Because what would Thompson have known about that? He's the money guy.
It all falls under his, what's the word, purview? Is that the word?
That'll
It's all
work.
under his umbrella. Yeah.
Well,
It's-
Umbrella's better.
we all know that it's handled on an individual case by someone in cubicles, and I'm not making light, but that's what, remember The Incredibles, that's what he did. He was an insurance denier. That's why he became a superhero.
Just a minute.
No. I'm just saying that those are individual cases that are handled by people, not CEOs.
What are the,
now I understand.
Okay.
what's
Yeah,
the Incredibles?
Thank you.
You guys don't know the movie The Incredibles?
No, I don't.
No.
With the people in your home right now, I can't believe that you haven't.
Is it a cartoon?
yeah, it's a
Yes.
movie.
They're great.
I can't believe you haven't seen
It's a
it.
super family.
What we haven't mentioned so far, they did say on the shell casings the words deny, defend, and depose were engraved in them.
Yeah. Right.
And that is the title of a book from 2010 that details how insurance companies get out of paying for coverage.
Right.
So that leads me to believe. Now, if I go down the whole rabbit hole with Chris there, I suppose you could say, well, they did that just to throw suspicion in another direction.
Oh, I hadn't considered that.
Welcome to the team, John.
Well, I'm not on your team, Chris. I'm sorry.
But if
Can
you
I-
go down Reavers, if you go down the defend, depose, and whatever else it said,
Defend, deny.
that lends
defend.
some credence to the idea that this was an act of revenge for a lost person.
Joe, you take the heat for the four of us all the time. You're in charge. And then when you do wrong, who takes the heat, Dan or Ginny? That's how it works. It's why mayors resign or CEOs of companies resign, why senators resign, governors, etc. The top guy takes the fall.
So I saw this right before we went on the air. It's breaking that police are investigating inside an Upper West Side hostel where the alleged shooter stayed after killing the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. There's a video on the Freedom News, but there's nothing to be played on here. But they're making, what would you call it, inroads on where this guy is located and where he stayed.
I'm sure he'll be found.
But here's my suspicion, though.
But when your suspicion is when he's found, he will have killed himself.
Right.
Yeah, all right.
I'll buy that. Yeah, absolutely.
But he
Chris.
could have killed himself for a number of reasons outside of the idea that he was.
And then the story goes away, is my point. If he does, in fact.
You know, the hired killer thing, if you've got a lot of money, you hire the best in the business. If you've got $500, you hire this guy.
Yeah, the idea that this was a seasoned professional assassin kind of went out the window with all the clues he left behind,
Right. Yeah.
including DNA on a coffee cup.
Yeah.
Right,
You
so-
don't do that.
No, and I hope, Chris, you've backed off your ridiculous belief that the Trump shooter was some sort of professional arrangement. That guy couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Unfortunately, killed an innocent civilian and was not up to the task of your theory.
But
he was
we
not
didn't-
up to the task of your
But
theory.
what did we learn about him?
We didn't learn anything.
Right.
Well, we learned that he was. I suppose we learned all of the cliches.
The things we didn't learn are the
Loner.
motive. We didn't learn any of that.
Can I encourage Chris a little bit in regards to that shooting?
Sure.
You're looking the wrong direction, Chris. Look at the reason why the Secret Service and the police didn't stop this guy from the second they saw and
Yeah,
knew about him.
no doubt.
That's where you should be snooping around.
Because isn't there
And
also another?
If I may offer you some counsel,
Yeah, please.
I would not be snooping around.
Well, no, not me personally. I'm saying maybe Chris. No, I'm out of it. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even here
Chris,
today.
if I were you, I wouldn't be snooping around.
Okay,
You
okay.
know nothing.
I didn't even.
You don't even
Yeah.
know what we're talking
Chris
about.
and I aren't working today. It's not us.
It ain't me.
And he clearly did not think his life was ever at risk, because there are people make their living providing corporate security to people. He didn't have any security.
Even
he
though
wasn't worried about anything.
Even though he had received threats,
Well,
according
but
to his wife.
apparently he either didn't take them seriously or had received enough of them to dismiss them. Nothing compelled him to have personal security with him.
Right.
So it's an unfortunate situation.
But the whole Department of Justice investigation is, I guess, the reason why I went down the road that I did. It's too timely, don't you guys think?
Yeah, and we learned that he and the wife were on the outs. I
Right.
don't think that has anything to do with it.
No.
The most shocked I've been regarding this is our buddy Julie Nelson, who's an anchor over at Care 11, tweeted yesterday, just a reminder that Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Health, who was just shot and killed in New York, was a human being with a family. So many of the comments on his murder are despicable. She had on that tweet, let me get the number, 7,900 responses. And Julie only has, and Julie only has 34,000 followers, 35,000, something like that. And every single one of those responses were vile. And I was shocked by that. I couldn't believe what I was reading.
Apparently, there are a lot of people that are very angry at insurance companies.
Yeah, and
in this
I'm not going to tell.
echo chamber of meaningless Twitter and anonymity, many people are saying things like that evil librarian said about Dennis Prager. You know,
Good, very good analogy. Yep.
so there are bad people out there, and Twitter has become their go-to source for venting. Now I'm going to turn, in the absence of any new information breaking, and I'm unaware of any, we're now going to turn to Kenny Olson to represent. I don't necessarily know that it represents the Garage Logic as an institution,
Well, 2/5 of the staff.
but it represents at least Kenny and at least Reavers. And you may wish to join in, Kenny.
When my son was born in 2000, I thought, well, that's the end of a pretty good life. I should write a book, I should turn it into a screenplay, and I should make it a movie, because I did some unbelievably insane things. So much so that when I try to give you a story, Joe, you say to me, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
You're making that up.
Right.
Well, as it turns out, my life story before my son was born isn't even worthy of one word on a postage stamp compared to that of Hunter Biden.
Yes.
This man partied so hard
How hard did he party?
that he needed a presidential pardon to get off. None of us can say that.
I can't disagree.
We're
He got
a bunch
pardon
of-
for partying.
We're a bunch of wannabes, make-believers, amateurs, and cheap fakes. Hunter Biden is the hero to all partiers, and there should be a statue somewhere to that man. Chris.
Kenny, he makes Chris Reavers' 1997 to 2001 at Mankato State look like my kid's 10th grade birthday party.
You could take every drunk in Wisconsin, which is 99% of them, Compare him to Hunter, and they don't come close. Hunter is the man.
You guys have never had a picture taken of yourself in the bathtub with a joint
No.
or a meth or
No,
whatever you
no.
were smoking?
I'm not going to talk about what pictures exist of me, but I didn't need a presidential pardon.
Didn't he make advances on his brother's widow?
Yep.
Did he marry her?
What
Is
a
that what
champ!
happened?
You know what? That makes him a champion.
Oh my God.
God, can't he? I can't go there. But did he marry that woman? Were they married?
I don't think so.
And then did
They were involved
You know
in
what?
a relationship.
If
didn't he have
he
a
got
child
married-
with a stripper?
What's
And
wrong
then-
with that?
And
Allegedly.
Uncle Joe denies the
existence.
of that grandchild.
Yeah.
Or Uncle
Whoops.
Joe, Papa Joe. You know.
They did have a relationship, the sister-in-law and Hunter Biden.
I see.
They were not married.
They were not. I didn't think so.
Who hasn't coveted the wife of a best friend or relative? Come on, man.
Well, I don't. As I
Anyway.
quickly run through the roster.
God bless Hunter Biden. I hope to meet you someday, sir.
Well, and the other
Hey, you know what though?
Well, to lend some credence to Kenny's theory, the pardon is so all-encompassing
Right.
Yeah,
that you
everything.
can't get him for anything.
No.
Now,
He's a free man.
Yep.
imagine what could have been if Hunter Biden ever partied with Hunter Thompson. Can you imagine
my
that? They would
God.
have burned the entire United States to the ground.
Right to the ground.
I don't know. I think they had. I think Hunter was. I think Hunter Thompson. I think Hunter Biden would have been a Boy Scout compared to Hunter Thompson.
Yeah. An
You
intern.
think so?
Yeah, you're right.
Everybody's a Boy Scout compared to
Yeah,
Hunter
Really?
Thompson.
An intern.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh
Okay.
my God, Hunter. No, nobody did it like Hunter Thompson.
You know, Hunter Thompson was very strange.
Yeah, he was the champion
Hunter
when the
Biden
going.
is strange. He wasn't as strange as Hunter Thompson.
Okay.
To quote Hunter Thompson, when the going gets weird, the weird turn pro.
Yeah,
Can I ask you a question, Joe?
you may.
The other day, you had some figures, various podcast numbers. Something to the effect of 310,000 podcasts in this country, right? Something to that effect the other day?
There's more than that.
I
Whatever-
had that.
whatever
It
that
was like
number is.
4 million,
Yes,
I think.
whatever that number is. I can guarantee you this, Mr.
Yeah.
Souchere.
Yes.
This is the only one of those 400 million podcasts that had that take on Hunter Biden.
I think so.
You're welcome,
I
GLers.
Yes.
I think so.
GLers, you're
Top
special
takes.
people.
Yeah.
I did that just for you.
Just for you.
You know what? You're not getting it anywhere else.
What's Royce's deal? Oh, hot takes.
It's a hot take.
That's a hot
That
take.
is a piping hot sports take.
Well, we've awarded the Turkey of the Year. It went to the new state flag, the center of the American experiment, with its annual Turkey of the Year award. Walls DEI employees were in there, the National Loon Center, Dungeons and Dragons podcast. Yes, we spent money on that. But the new state flag, I think, was a worthy Turkey of the Year. If you follow the Center of the American Experiment all year long on their website, which I advise you to do, americanexperiment.org, you not only get great information, much of which will be leading up to next year's Turkey of the Year, but you also get great programs they announce, great investigative pieces they write, great assemblies of like-minded good thinkers. It's a wonderful, wonderful operation. I urge you to go to their website. We make it a daily visit on this show. It's the American Experiment. That's one word, americanexperiment.org. can't find the.
You can find it.
I can't.
Here's a man who can't find it.
Well, where is it?
Wow.
She asked.
It's gone. It's gone.
She
We'll
said.
fix it.
Been gone for a while.
As soon as we hear about Ray and Welter.
Well, whether you're trying to heat up your romantic life or heat your home, Welter can do that for you. It's 20 degrees right now. It is cold outside. So you want it to be nice and toasty inside, and the only people that can do that for me are the Welter family. Ray and Welter Heating, online at welterheating.com. Heating units, cooling units, air purification system, they do it all. They have certified technicians that also offer 24/7 emergency services. Hopefully you're smart enough to call them before it's an emergency. If you're hearing funny noises, you want to make sure that that unit is looked at. So get in touch with Welter. Online, you can request a quote online or appointment at welterheating.com. Or go old school. Pick up the phone and dial 612-825-6867. That's 24 hours a day they'll help you. Now, they don't answer the phone all the time. During business hours, you will talk to a human being. 4 generations of Welter family, over 100-plus years of experience, and they help everybody that's in the Twin Cities metro area. This time when it gets cold, heat up your shelter with the fine folks at Ray and Welter.
Speaking of gasoline, just a quick mention again that I'm watching this show called Landman. Mm-hmm. It's about the oil business in Texas.
Okay.
And it's enjoyable. It's full of cliches in terms of the characters. Billy Bob Thornton is the lead guy, and he's a character. He is the main man in the field for the owner of the company.
Okay.
And there's a host of scantily clad women in the cast. And
Does Billy Bob Thornton keep himself busy with some of the members of the cast?
In last night's episode, though, this big shot, very woke, very good-looking attorney is in town for a variety of problems that you understand by the show. But he takes her to a windmill farm. And he gives one of the greatest lectures on the folly.
Oh, I've seen this clip.
The folly of this windmill stuff. It's just fantastic. Which, I don't know in real life. I would imagine Billy Bob just falls in line with the rest of these idiots in Hollywood and thinks that global warming is real. But he gave this speech, and we can't play it.
No, and that's the thing, because many GLers have sent the clip. That's why I saw it.
And he explains to this attorney how much oil it took just to put up one windmill.
So he's pointing out the irony.
Oh, my word. It was just fantastic. Say,
it does seem like a very cool character.
Yeah.
You guys, this sounds like a Taylor Sheridan written.
It is.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Joe, he's the guy that wrote, among others, Yellowstone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And as soon as you started saying that, I'm like, oh, my God, that sounds like Sheridan. That makes sense. He's good.
Yeah, the ex-wife is really fun to look at, and his daughter's really fun to look at, and
Don't make it creepy.
Jesus. She's 18.
All right,
She's
have some
not
hot chocolate.
9 years old.
Well, yeah, she's about 16 in the
17,
show.
I think.
17, okay. I've seen the show, too. You're an episode behind, Joe. There's another
I've only
episode.
seen 3.
Yeah, I'm kind of...
Did you enjoy the lecture about the windmills?
I did, but the show, I loved the first show, but the next two, especially the third one, was kind of cliche-ridden and
The
turned
third
into a
one
soap,
the third
soap
one was
opera.
that I watched was last night. That's the windmill lecture.
Right, but everything else turned into a soap opera with the ex-wife.
Oh, it's all cliches with
Yeah.
the blondes and the whole deal.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm learning a lot about the oil business.
In the new one, Joe, they have ads from the oil industry saying, we love drama as much as everyone, but this, isn't really how it goes.
Oh.
And here's what we supply to
I
you
thought
people.
it was exactly the same way.
Well, not all the danger and stuff.
Say,
That's
while we're
basically what
talking
they're saying.
TV, year 3, season 3, episode 1 of Roadworthy Rescues with Derek Beery appeared last night on Motor Trend TV.
I watched it.
Yeah, the final season for Roadworthy.
I'm going to ruin it for you.
Go ahead.
I know you taped it.
Yeah,
no, I
I
won't
haven't
ruin
seen
it.
it.
I'll just tell you what they do. They bring an El Camino back to life.
Oh,
It's pretty cool.
I don't like El Camino, so this should be fun. I can hate watch it.
Okay.
I'll watch it 2 or 3 times.
Jay Coles is a good reporter. He's the only one in town, as far as I know, who caught wind of a problem last night and had good film footage and interviews with it. And that is that the homeless in St. Paul last night had no shelters to seek. Ramsey County is in charge of providing 4 warming shelters.
Okay.
None of them are open.
Oh,
And they're not open and might not be open until the end of the month. And it got me to wondering, there are a few things we should do well in Minnesota, despite the incompetence of a too large government. There are some things that we should just do well, and among them would be providing a warming shelter when it's a 50-mile-an-hour wind and 12 degrees.
yeah.
And so what happened is Coles got wind of this, and what happened is Ramsey County Sheriff Bob Fletcher, God bless him, he sent out vans to pick people up and bring them back and let them sleep in the sheriff's office.
No kidding.
He had 90 people in there, mostly
Really?
men, but also 1 dog, 1 cat.
Okay.
I think he will allow me to say that among the people picked up last night was a group terribly frostbitten, and they took 1 guy to the hospital, and he died, cardiac arrest.
Oh, no.
He died. And I don't know that he wants me to comment on what he thinks the reasons are the warming centers aren't open. I think I can allude to it by saying that it probably involves some legal maneuvering to safeguard the county and the city from liability claims. That's being worked out. Apparently. Okay, let me just end it with saying that. In any event, there was Coles out there, and he's going around following these vans. They took 90 people to the sheriff's office, and I think it's appalling. It's just appalling that we're witnessing this kind of incompetence day after day after day, no matter what the topic is. And again, yes, here I go. We pay enough taxes that you ought to have warming centers open for these people.
Agreed.
And I went and looked at the information this morning, and there are 4 warming centers. There's one on the east side. There's one in downtown. There's one out on University. They're all closed. These people have nowhere to go. I know they're drug-addled, and I know that many of them think they prefer to live outdoors, but you can't live outdoors in Minnesota when the wind is 50 miles an hour and it's 12 degrees. You can if you're a professional explorer and you have the right clothing and you know what you're doing, but these are people who are terribly confused to begin with, and they need warmth, and it isn't available.
And just the other day, didn't you have the quote from Mayor Carter? Well, we're going to have to cut essential services with his budget forecast.
Well, he fears cutting essential services because he has it backwards.
Well, you don't even have essential services operating right now.
Right.
Melvin.
Everything we hear about ending homelessness.
This is county.
It's not city at all?
Well, city's involved by some geographically, but
Joe, I'm so shocked to hear this with all that we hear on a daily basis about ending homelessness. I can't believe this.
And
happened.
all you progressives, this is supposedly your field of expertise. All you progressives and all you Marxist and democratic socialists, these are the people you care about. And you're failing them miserably. And you're failing them miserably in Minneapolis as well as St. Paul.
Okay, instead of pointing, I agree with everything you said, but instead of just blaming them, let's fix it ourselves. How do we fix it? What's step one? What do we do here?
Well, I go back to Walls's ridiculous purchase of the fruit warehouse. That could have been one hell of a warming center, if nothing else.
Oh, I know. He's still living in the U of M property, right?
I believe so.
Put these people in the governor's mansion. It's got to be warmer in there than it was last night on the streets.
But it's just unconscionable. You've got these facilities. They haven't opened for the season.
That's the prime time.
You haven't opened for the season yet? When does the season begin?
Well, 'tis the season.
Is this where we step in and start yelling and screaming at lawyers that control every aspect of our life?
That's part of it, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So Fletch took them to the law enforcement center.
How many did you say? 90?
90.
And I bet you there's another 300 that spent the night outside.
And a Ramsey County spokesperson, according to Coles, told Coles that contracts were being finalized with private vendors and the warming spaces should be open, you ready?
Today.
Later this month.
No.
This is Minnesota.
Just in time for
There
Christmas.
aren't many things we should do well, but this is one of them.
Yeah.
This is one you should do really well.
You guys in St. Paul, like Minneapolis, have buildings at your parks, park buildings. Why not those?
Yes. Yes,
Stash
there
a
are
few in
buildings.
every
Yes.
park building.
Yeah.
Well, half your buildings are vacant downtown.
I know, but I'm sure, again, you'd be facing all sorts of legal hurdles to suddenly put 200 people in the Acme former bank building. That would result in problems. I'm not saying this is easy. I'm saying it should be something that Minnesota is good at. I don't care how difficult it is. Be good at it. And we can't even do this in the winter?
Come on.
I know you already talked to Bob today. Who are you going to get in touch with after the show to get this fixed before the sun goes down?
Ramsey County officials. I
I'm
have their
putting
numbers.
I'm putting it all on your shoulders.
That's
You
fine.
could do this for us.
That's fine. I'll be calling Ramsey County
Good.
officials.
Yeah, do it. Raise some hell.
This is ridiculous.
It is.
Absolutely
It's
ridiculous.
Unacceptable.
In Minnesota, there are a few things you should do well.
Like what?
Make a hot dish,
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
fish,
Okay.
Drive in awful conditions.
You'd think.
obey religiously construction signals, because we're always under construction.
Okay.
Plow the streets.
Leave events early.
Don't use the zipper merge. You got to get
No,
in that
use
other
the
lane right
zipper
away.
merge.
No, we don't do that here.
No,
That's
you're
the problem.
supposed to.
Okay.
And provide warming centers. That should be something we do well.
A basic.
Is there anything you morons do well? What does the government do well? Will somebody tell me that?
Spend money.
Tax us.
Spend money. They're really good at that.
This is a serious question. What does Ramsey County in the city of St. Paul, this is true the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings, what are they doing well?
Well, there's
Diversity and equity inclusion.
You don't even know that because there's no metrics to measure accomplishment.
This is true.
You're bringing up a good point. Does the county or the city have a person in charge of something like this?
I will find out.
So you're saying Melvin should add to his cabinet?
No, this is, again,
A
this is-
warming center.
This
keep
is the
telling you,
county,
this is the
but-
county.
I know,
A warning center captain.
You're right.
I'm sure they do. Oh, absolutely they do.
A warning center
Oh,
captain?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I don't know what the title would be, but
I like
there's-
captain.
there's
I like
probably-
warming center captain.
Well, I don't care what the title is. They have a title for somebody, and I'll have it,
Like
and
the
I'll
Salvation
call them.
Army, they have a
I will
uniform.
call them.
Okay.
Raise some hell, brother. I'll be right there next
This
to
is
you.
why we need Mayor Omar Fateh to take care of this problem and many others.
Minneapolis? Yeah.
A pebble in my shoe would be a better mayor than Omar Fateh.
Dirty underpants. Now let's make a list of things that would be better at being a mayor.
Than Omar Fateh.
Constipation.
Yeah. A loose molar.
A skin tag.
Right. God almighty. Honest to God. You can't do this? This is basic. It's
Yeah.
right there with plowing. It's right there.
Yep.
We plow well. The guys who run plows know what they're doing.
Right.
This is. Did you take note of the wind yesterday?
Oh, my goodness.
It was so windy.
I
windy
love
was
the
it?
wind. I love the white noise of wind. I enjoy it thoroughly. But you don't want to be outside in that wind last night. That drove it down to 4, 5, 6 below wind chill. And it would have been, 40 below wind chill had it been, 5 below or whatever. And these camps that Coles filmed, they're not It's squalor, is what it is. It's absolute squalor. But you owe it to fellow human beings. You have our tax money. You claim to care, and you can't put these together?
Fail.
Unbelievable. Take a
It
break.
makes me want to just break.
Why don't we get height?
How about we do this first? You look hungry. Did you
Not
have lunch
really.
today?
I did.
Can I introduce you to our friends again at 30 Bales Restaurant in
Oh, I love 30
Did you have a
Bales.
sandwich?
Hopkins?
I love 30 Bales.
What kind of sandwich did you have for lunch today? You know what I bet
Chicken
you
salad.
You know what I bet you didn't have? The short rib lasagna, like I
What?
had a couple of weeks ago.
What?
I got takeout.
baby.
This would have been what?
Wow.
2 Saturdays ago. I got takeout after my little guy's basketball tournament in Hopkins. I'm going to tell you right now, if he just had that on the menu, he would still be a successful restaurant. It was that good.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
In fact, I
You
almost,
know any hummers who eat? When they're eating, they go,
Bob.
That's me.
yeah.
Bob has basically a conversation with himself in hum language.
I think Bob and I might be brothers.
But the fun part is when he's Thanksgiving or when he's over,
Yeah.
and I'll sit next to him.
He would do this at 30 Bales, too.
Yes, and I will start to do that.
See, I'm trying to keep the
and
commercial
my kids,
going.
who love 30 Bales, will
Right.
just start laughing as I'm going,
well, 30 Bales is essentially a conversation piece.
It
It's
is.
I want
home
some,
food, Chris.
It is. It's hum food.
hum food.
It's hum food.
They also want to make mention that Hennepin County Library presents Pen Pals, the Monday evening and Tuesday morning stages children's theater production of Rudolph is going gangbusters, and you got to make your reservations because when they have a show, they are packed to the gills at 30
Sorry,
Bales
kid, I didn't
Restaurant.
mean to shoot Rudolph.
No.
I don't think they serve reindeer at 30 Bales.
Oh, but if they did,
If
But
they did.
You should check out the 30 Bales website, which is 30bales.com, because what you can do, like I did, is put your menu order online and then pick it up and take it home for Din Din. It's fantastic. It's a scratch kitchen in downtown Hopkins, and they are the best. They also have a fantastic happy hour from 3 to 5:30
Okay,
Thursday.
let's go. They've gotten enough time.
Yeah.
We love 'em.
90% of it's been you two asshats.
I know. Tell it how much we love to hum.
Yeah, but also check out the Facebook page for an announcement and updates on the Big Ten project they have going on. But they're the best. So stop
deviled
in at
eggs,
30
deviled eggs.
Yes, and the chicken drummies. Fantastic. Every member of the family will be satisfied at 30 Bales Restaurant. Stop in, say hi to Todd, call him the Hum Restaurant, and make sure you mention that you heard about him on the Garage Logic podcast.
Break it down.
And now, a man who has never had a relationship with a tree, Joe Souchere.
May I?
May you.
I am sick and tired of listening to you, Joe Souchere, tell other people what to do when, and I'm going to use the homeless as an example, when the answer is quite clear. The answer, Joe? You. Run for office.
Oh, boy.
Win whatever
Let's go.
seat it is and take care of all the nonsense that's happening on your side of the river, Joe.
I'd be younger than the president and the incoming president.
And you've got a head full of common
chicken.
sense.
Spring chicken, as far as I'm concerned.
They
Gotcha.
can call you a conservative. They can call you a Democrat. You say you have no party, and you've got some good ideas. Why don't you just, instead of telling the young people to do it, just you know what? It's the equivalent of, here, just let me do it.
Give me the wheel. Let's
Do
go.
it. Yeah, it's one of those deals, Joe.
Someone take the wheel.
And we're saying, Joe, take the wheel.
All right, here we go, John Haidt.
Thanks, Joe.
I don't think he's going to.
I don't think that is
I don't think
soaking
so
in
either.
as
I
much
don't
as
think
you.
that set in with him.
That was a kind of like a no comment thing that Joe just did.
No,
What's
you know
coming
what
up
that
on the
was?
ride?
That was a, okay, kid.
Okay, kid.
Okay, kid.
This news update is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Updates now on the story we started the show with. ABC News reporting that members of the New York City Police Department are appearing to be, in their words, closing in on the identity of the man who shot and killed Minnesota-based United Healthcare CEO, 50-year-old Brian Thompson, early yesterday morning. Police have reportedly requested a search warrant for a location in the city, and Chris, as you heard earlier, said that was happening, where the suspect was believed to have been staying. That comes hours after detectives allegedly found shell casings at the scene of the shooting that had the words deny, defend, and depose written on them. Detectives are still working to figure out if the words were meant as a message. Those three words are in the title of a 2010 book that details how insurance companies get out of paying for coverage that customers have already paid for. The Thompson was shot multiple times at point-blank range outside a hotel located on 6th Avenue between 53rd and 54th Streets. Meanwhile, Thompson's boss's former security provider expressed shock that he didn't have protection with him in the Big Apple. Thompson was stationed at the company's headquarters in Minnetonka, where more than 100 demonstrators descended in April and July to protest the alleged epidemic of claims denials. The Wall Street Journal reporting that during the July 11th protest, 11 demonstrators were arrested, including people from Minnesota, Illinois, Maine, Texas, West Virginia, and New York, according to Minnetonka police. Leaders with St. Paul Public Schools will be making a big decision today as the Board of Education will reveal its top candidates for the district's next superintendent. A task force of 3 school board members, parents, and community reps have been meeting this month to narrow down the search. Joe Gothard left at the end of last school year, and John Thien is currently serving as interim superintendent, but he doesn't want the job full-time. Once the finalists are named, the school board will interview the final candidates from December 16th through December 18th.
Let me just say there was probably a time in America when school board members were functioning, employed members of the community.
Okay.
Insurance agents, attorneys, doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, whatever. They're not anymore. They're professional activists.
Mm-hmm.
The voters have turned over the school board to professional activists just the way they've turned over the city councils the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings. Unless the school board is taken back, you can never expect any positive changes in public education. None. Thank you, John.
Gotcha.
Continue.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Today is the latest deadline for Hennepin County to reduce its jail population to no more than 600 inmates. That's the latest order from the Minnesota Department of Corrections related to concerns about overcrowding and safety. You might remember we had the story. An extension was granted in mid-November by the DOC for moving inmates in order to get under the limit. Earlier in the month, the jail had about 900 inmates. As of this morning, the jail website showed 571 inmates being held. However, it's not known at this time how many more inmates, if any, will be moved to stay under the 600-person maximum. Currently, there are 265 Hennepin County inmates being held in other facilities. The county is paying more than $5 million to keep moving inmates to 7 other countries as laid out in various agreements. Anoka County homeowners. This is weird. As an Anoka County resident, this doesn't happen often here. Will be seeing a pretty big increase in their property taxes next year. According to the county, the Board of Commissioners approved an increase of almost 17% on Tuesday as part of a goal to have an annual levy increase around 5.25% by the end of the decade. That increase will be separate from any potential increases that may come from cities and school districts. The county says it's dealing with inflation as well as rising expenses for buildings and equipment, in addition to rising healthcare costs for employees and money needed to not only bring in workers but retain them. In a statement, Mike Gamachi, the chair of the Anoka County Board of Commissioners, said in part, the levy reflects our current circumstances and it's operational in nature. It's to keep services at a level that our residents expect. Gamachi also said that the county is, in his words, now at a point where we're starting a multi-year approach to stabilize the levy amount.
Kenny, how are the property taxes up in your neck of the woods?
Delightfully low.
Are they increasing this year?
I don't think I'm having a property tax increase. And it's really charming to hear my friends and neighbors complain about their high taxes coming from where I came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few incidences that are unreasonable. Like, I think I've told you this. I can't remember if it was on or off the air. Them raising taxes for people that own lakeshore that isn't accessible from a road on an environmental lake, not a recreational lake, a lake that nobody can get to.
Right.
And they raise your taxes saying, well, you could develop that on that basis alone. And it's been fought, and the people fighting it lose.
The up here in this area, it's always been. I have no complaints. I've lived up here 25 years. Rarely is there a big increase. A lot of years there's a decrease. And this year, I guess I'll have to go along with the idea we need a bigger increase.
Do you hear that, Joe? He said decrease.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a decrease.
What's
in taxes
when's the last
occasion.
time decrease happened in St. Paul?
I'm not sure, man.
Got it. Just checking.
Star Tribune reporting the Hennepin County Attorney's Office wants to tap criminal forfeiture money to pay the $578,028 bill from the Washington, D.C. law firm that was hired to take over the now dismissed murder and manslaughter charges against State Trooper Ryan Londrigan.
Go get him, Mary.
Wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
What does that mean? That means that
Let John finish his story.
The county board advanced with a 5-1 vote yesterday a request from County Attorney Mary Moriarty's office to spend $700,000 in criminal forfeiture money as part of a supplemental budget appropriation. The board is expected to formally approve spending the forfeited funds at their final meeting of the year, December 12th. Commissioner Kevin Anderson was the only vote against the request. He had opposed Moriarty's request in April to hire the outside law firm and questioned why an additional appropriation was needed. The Sarah Davis, deputy county attorney, noted that the criminally forfeited funds are available to her office annually, but the county board must okay how that money is spent, pointing out, quote, this is not taxpayer dollars. That's one thing I want to make clear.
Well, there's a couple of things interesting about this. You'll recall that Mary so desperately wanted to ruin Londrigan's life that she brings in this White Shoes law firm from Washington, D.C., and pays them an extraordinary, I think their retainer was $500,000, and Mary kept saying, "Don't worry about it. We can cover that from our whatever a slush fund they have or whatever," which turns out to be a lie because now what she's wanting to do is just use the money they collect off crooks to pay them back,
right?
Which I find ironic. And I'm all for it. Go ahead. Just so you don't hit the taxpayers for it, Mary. Your personal vendetta should have been paid for by you.
So, okay, I'm sorry to be the dumb one here. Explain money they collect from crooks. You mean in the form of fines?
That's what I was asking.
No, I'm
earlier,
thinking, you bring in a gangbanger or you raid a house and arrest the guy, you're going to take the $5,000 that was on the kitchen table, I'm imagining.
Take his car, take everything.
Yeah. Or if they got a Mercedes, you sell it.
Take the cigar box full of cash. In the
Because
bedroom.
we know all of that money's accounted for accordingly.
Oh, of course.
Police arrested a 16-year-old student after he allegedly brought a gun to his high school in Kenosha, Wisconsin. This is the second time in less than a month someone has apparently tried to bring a firearm into one of the southeastern Wisconsin city schools. Indian Trail High School and Academy's resource officer learned that a photo of the student with a gun had been posted on social media. The student was located, escorted to an office, arrested, and taken to the police department. Investigators later determined the student had hidden a gun in what they call a sensitive area, making it difficult for officers to locate the weapon initially. The statement did not elaborate, and a police spokesperson didn't respond to a comment from the Associated Press. The student was in custody at a juvenile detention facility on Wednesday awaiting a court hearing, according to the statement. Criminal proceedings involving minors and their outcomes are secret in Wisconsin. Kenosha police had arrested a 13-year-old boy on November 7th after he tried to bring what police said were suspicious bags into Roosevelt Elementary School. Investigators had believed the boy was armed, judging by videos of him brandishing what detectives thought was a rifle and comments he made to other students. The teen fled after school staff members moved to question him. Police arrested him later that afternoon at his home. Why don't we take a quick break here, come back with some national and international news after this.
Latte schmate. Here's Joe Souchere.
In the international stories, an Israeli strike on a tent camp housing displaced people in southern Gaza killed at least 21 people, wounded 28 on Wednesday. The Israeli military said its aircraft hit senior Hamas militants involved in terrorist activities in the area. At least 15 bodies arrived at the hospital, but reaching a precise number of dead was difficult because many were dismembered. The strike hit in the Muwasi area, a sprawling coastal camp housing hundreds of thousands of displaced people. Israel's war against Hamas has destroyed areas in Gaza. The war began, of course, when Hamas-led militants stormed into southern Israel October 7th, 2023, killing 1,200 people, mostly civilians, and taking about 250 people hostage. The political fate of President Yoon Suk Yeol of South Korea was in doubt early today as opposition lawmakers filed a motion to impeach him, and protesters demanded he resign after his attempt to impose martial law plunged the country into crisis. As large crowds gathered at candlelight vigils and chanted against him, Yoon was increasingly isolated. Reports in the South Korean news media said his defense minister, chief of staff, and other top aides had tendered their resignations. He will address the nation at some point today, according to officials. The turmoil began late Tuesday with Yoon's surprise declaration of martial law, a response from an unpopular leader angry and frustrated with the political gridlock that has hobbled his tenure. 2 children in extremely critical condition after being shot at a tiny religious K-8 school in Northern California. The gunman died at the scene, apparently from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, police said. The gunman, police say, may have targeted the Feather River School of Seventh-day Adventists in Palermo because of its religious affiliation, but he isn't believed to have had any prior connections to the victims or the school, according to Butte County Sheriff Corey Honea. The wounded children, ages 5 and 6, are kindergartners at the school. They're being treated at a trauma center in the Sacramento area, according to officials. Honea says, I'm thankful they're still alive, but they've got a long road ahead of them. Both were in critical condition as of last night. The shooting occurred shortly after 1 p.m. at the private Christian school with fewer than 36 students in Palermo. That city, by the way, has about 5,500 people, 65 miles north of Sacramento. Wall Street Journal reporting a Capitol rioter from Texas tried to join Russia's army to fight against Ukraine and almost boarded a plane to Turkey to make it there. On October 28th, Kevin Loftus, 56 years old, tried to fly to Turkey while still serving probation for a misdemeanor charge related to his involvement in the January 6th, 2021 attack on the Capitol. His probation required him to receive permission to travel outside the Dallas area, and he was denied boarding. He told FBI agents that he had planned to travel from Turkey to the Republic of Georgia to get a 90-day visa to Russia. Loftus said he had communicated with a contact living in Russia named Grisha, who was going to connect him with Russian forces. On 5 or 6 occasions, Loftus had made transfers of about $1,200 apiece to Grisha to help him raise money for equipment to Russian soldiers. When asked if Loftus would have fought on behalf of Russia in the current conflict, he told FBI agents, yes. Do you think Grisha was a real person? That's what I got out of that one.
No.
May I say...
just $1,200 over and over.
I'm still troubled and confused by the January 6th
Here I am.
Invasion of the Capitol. If I was Trump, I would not pardon those people. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw film. Am I supposed to believe the film was faked?
What's to pardon? They damaged, they trespassed,
hurt policemen, they damaged property, they broke in.
Right.
What am I supposed to believe? That that's okay? Because I don't believe that that's okay.
Are you talking about the people that were peacefully there, or the ones that were hired by the Democrats?
Ooh.
He brings up a good point.
He doesn't, and I'm not even going to comment.
No, he
on it.
does
That's how
not
stupid
bring
it
up a good
is. So,
point.
Well, I tried, Chris. You're pretty stupid, Chris. That was a bad point.
I couldn't get anybody to bite, man.
I tried.
Politico reporting. Speaking of, we were talking earlier about pardons. President Biden's senior aides are conducting a vigorous internal debate over whether to issue preemptive pardons to a range of current and former public officials who could be targeted with President-elect Donald Trump's return to the White
They're
House.
setting up the loss.
Yeah.
Biden's
Wait a
aides.
minute. Explain that? What?
He will. It's just I know where he's going.
I think I want one of these. I want one of these.
Biden's aides are concerned about a range of current and former officials who could find themselves facing inquiries and indictments. A sense of alarm that's only accelerated since Trump last weekend announced the appointment of Kash Patel to lead the FBI. Patel has publicly vowed to pursue Trump's critics, even media critics. White House officials, however, are carefully weighing the extraordinary step of handing out blanket pardons to those who have committed no crimes, both because it could suggest impropriety, only fueling Trump's criticisms, and because those offered preemptive pardons might reject them. Those who could face exposure include members of Congress's January 6th committee, like Senator-elect Adam Schiff of California and former GOP Rep. Liz Cheney of Wyoming. Trump has previously said Cheney, quote, should go to jail, along with the rest of the unselect committee. Well, some Democratic lawmakers favor the idea. At least one who might be in the crosshairs says no. Adam Schiff, quoted as saying, I would urge the president not do that. I think it would seem defensive and unnecessary.
If you're cheering on the idea that Kash Patel would punish Trump's critics, you should be very careful of what you're wishing for.
Yeah. I've always thought the best position to be in the world would be somebody who has diplomatic immunity. Can you imagine carrying that card around with you? That means, never mind a license to kill. That's a license to do whatever the hell you want globally.
You could party like Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Nobody can, I think, as
A man
Kenny
can
pointed
dream.
out. Right.
A very strange story from California. A woman hiking in Pebble Beach was tied to a tree by an armed man early Wednesday, leading to a search for the suspect. A spokesperson told KSBW 8 that a man was on a walk around 9:30 in the morning. He heard a woman screaming and crying for help. He found the woman tied to a tree near the Pebble Beach Company maintenance yard and in a wooden area between Hall Road and Highway 68. A second person was also walking in the area and helped untie the victim from the tree before calling for help. The woman said she was out walking around 7:30 in the morning and the man started following her. During the encounter, the male subject produced a handgun. According to Deputy Spokesperson Andy Rosas, the male basically walked her over to a tree, proceeded to tie her up to the tree, and then just walked away. The man just left on foot. She said she was not injured, assaulted, or robbed in any of this. She was found a few hours later, taken to the hospital for a checkup. Police say they're not really sure what was going on. The description of the man, a Hispanic male in his 30s, wearing a green hat and a gray sweater. There's an extensive search done with negative results, according to police. A Pebble Beach Company did put out a shelter in place for its maintenance yard and for parts of the Poppy Hills, but the man was not arrested.
I believe
No.
that's near the golf course. And you know, the first thing she said was to the first responder, "You live around here?"
Hey, you live around here? Where are you?
There's something missing from that story. I'm not buying it. I am not buying that.
All right.
No way. What's missing is she wasn't hurt, right? Not assaulted.
Right, not
Nope.
touched.
Nothing
yeah.
like that.
Nope.
What's missing is what was she saying to him that got her tied up? Was she nagging him? Was she one of those?
boy.
I don't
Was
know.
it somebody? Did her husband actually do that?
But if that's near 17 Mile Road, that's the most exclusive area in the country.
How many times, Joe, have you considered tying the CP up and just leaving her right there next to Mississippi
many
Boulevard?
Times,
Yeah,
many times.
Yeah.
Kenny, I think
But
to
always
answer-
where she'd be found.
Sure.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right.
Kenny, I think what led to that was she said, "Why didn't you put gas in my car?" I think that's what led.
John, keep your eyes open because that story's going to change over the next 24 hours.
Did he use the old Dick Jonkowski line?
What's that?
He comes home from work.
Yeah. Well, he comes home from work and his wife greets him in a very provocative outfit and says, "It's your birthday, honey. You can tie me up and do anything you want to do." So I tied her up and went to the Twins game.
Perfect. Happy birthday to me.
Oh, yikes.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah,
Go
good.
ahead.
Okay.
Second
more?
door?
Do you want more? Do you?
No, I don't care. I can't talk.
Speaking of that, before we go to break,
Yeah.
we have matters to discuss. And I'm not here to name any names. I'm really not here to accuse anybody of anything because I trust all of my cohorts.
Yeah.
I have it on good authority to learn that Masters Maples was here last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I heard that they may have dropped off some goods.
I got one.
I got one.
I got one.
It was sitting on my computer desk. I was gone. I thought it was mine.
I gave you the bourbon one.
Chris, now you know
good
what
enough.
it feels like to be John
So-
and Kenny.
Yep.
Joe and Rookie got,
I got
their
a small
fair share.
bottle.
I
I
was.
got a small
in fact,
bottle.
I'm going to be doing the endorsement now. By
But the spokesperson for Masters Maples didn't get any. I see how it is.
it was
fitting.
on my desk.
By
I
the way,
thought
how good was that stuff?
it's fantastic. It makes Eggo
There's
waffles
nothing in it
taste like they're from a
except syrup.
restaurant.
There
I
ain't
know.
no chemicals or anything.
And here's why
No,
it's
it's-
great. So you guys know the health nut
I won't
I'm
even
married
tell you
to.
about the rub they left either.
There was rub
The
too.
seasoning, yeah.
Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
I'm kidding you.
I don't think they have rub.
No, they do,
They have
Joe.
spices, yeah.
That's part of their campaign here, Joe.
Oh, sure.
That on chicken.
But here's the thing: the health nut I'm married to, that's the only stuff she'll give to the boys. That's how good it is and how good it is for you.
It can make Eggo waffles from your toaster taste like a restaurant.
That's exactly what they have in the morning. We're talking about Masters Maples, based in Cohasset, Minnesota. The owner, Ben, he's a proud GLer.
Yeah, send up some more stuff, Ben, when
Ben,
Reavers is gone.
Ben, keep it coming and
Yeah,
pick the
let's
days
go.
Reavers isn't
Right,
here.
Thank you.
8 feet tall.
Yeah, he is a tall guy. His personal passion
Looks
for
like a guy that would go out in the woods.
Yes.
A woodsman.
Gotta tap some trees.
Yes, sir.
His personal passion for maple syrup led him to creating Masters Maples 12 years ago. From tap to table, Masters Maples brings you 100% pure maple syrup. It's a gluten-free, natural sweetener that can be used in cooking, grilling, and glazing. It also can be turned into pure maple sugar.
You know what you do when you have it? You go,
Oh, it is another product. That's what I specialize in. Masters Maple's full line of maple syrups brings a unique flavor to meals, but also many health benefits commonly used refined sugars do not. Simply put, Masters Maples offers the best 100% pure maple syrup that Minnesota has to offer, and many other products, such as bourbon barrel-aged maple syrup, like Joe just mentioned, maple sugar, and sweet and savory seasonings and rubs. You can order your bottle of Masters Maple Syrup today and taste the difference. And for the holiday season, you business owners looking to treat your staff, you can give your family, friends, and coworkers the gift of Masters Maples by ordering one of 4 holiday gift packs available right now at mastersmaples.com. Oh.
Joe,
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
does Chris have his headphones on?
I do.
Yeah, but he's on the phone.
Yeah, I do. What's up, Ken?
The feed, I'm watching YouTube, and it's fine.
Brooke, you don't have to do this. I can do
Oh,
this
now
at
it's
home.
coming back on YouTube. Like we're going,
I see nothing.
now you can hear us on YouTube.
You don't know what you're doing.
Does Chris have his headphones on?
Yeah, but he's on the phone.
Okay, be careful. They can hear us on YouTube. I'm watching YouTube.
All right,
and
'cause
it's
my-
fine. Oh, now it's coming back on YouTube.
Hold on, I wonder what-
Like we're going.
All right. Well, we only have this day in history left anyway, so let's do this and then figure out.
Well, I actually had a lot more than that.
Oh.
But,
Sorry. Well, I mean, whatever. We'll just get back into it
well,
because
how do we know we're going to be on the air?
the podcast is fine. Nothing happened with the podcast. This is all a YouTube thing.
All right.
So, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you still have what? Eco?
Yeah.
Hey.
All right, here we go. I'm rolling.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
Still plenty of time to get to Ecofun Motorsports in Forest Lake and Burnsville. Great, significant sales on Yamaha electric bikes. It's the electric bike capital of the world. Ecofun is on Highway 97, immediately west of 35 up in Forest Lake / Columbus. In Burnsville, it's on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42. And it's really a fun store. Youth recreational equipment, those little 4x4s, gas engine powered, man. Scooters, motorcycles, Yamaha snowmobiles, winter equipment. But the electric bikes are by Yamaha, and he wants all of those gone because the new ones are coming in, and they are, I mean, it's damn near half off. Don't quote me.
What are we waiting
Don't
for?
quote me.
Come on.
But it's just a fantastic deal. Also, you can get great service there, helmets and apparel. If you're shopping for Christmas and you have, or if you have a little land that you can play on or a lake place, this is the store you've got to visit. It's Ecofun Motorsports in Forest Lake, right on Highway 97, just west of 35. You can't miss it. And down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42, ecofunmotorsports.com. I am fortunate to receive the email from a group called All of Minneapolis. And we've invited them on, I think.
It's ringing a bell.
And this is from Chris Kluth, or Kluthy, Kluthe. Friends, if there's one overriding truth about our current DSA-aligned city council majority, Democratic Socialists of America, it's that they are not focused on the actual obligations and responsibilities of their jobs. And as a result, they are not focused on what is important to running a well-functioning city or what matters to most of its citizens. Well, that's a very accurate paragraph. Council members Payne, Wansley, Ellison, Osmond, Chavez, Chugati, and Chowdhury once again spent valuable time at a city council meeting this week focusing their efforts on foreign affairs, voting in favor of a measure expressing their support for Palestinian protesters and demanding that student protesters who occupied and vandalized buildings on the U of M campus face no criminal charges or discipline from the university or city attorney's office. The city council majority took this uninformed action over the objections of university officials who actually experienced the destructive behavior of a small number of extremists. At a time when our city desperately needs effective and urgent leadership, our city council continues to waste their time and our money on ineffective, uninformed, empty statements. There is little hope that these city council members will ever figure it out and get focused on the very real issues facing our city. Thank you. Please keep sending these, Chris. All of Minneapolis is doing the Lord's work. They're trying to stir up the citizens. It's absolutely criminal that you've ruined a city like Minneapolis with these uninformed activists who have nothing to do with, keeping homeless people warm, for example, or any of the
logistics
things
of running a city.
So that's an interesting note from those people. It's just Emily Koski's running for mayor.
11th Ward, South Central Minneapolis.
Her dad was Al Hofstede. He was a mayor twice in the 70s in Minneapolis.
Oh.
And she's identified as a Democrat. I don't know if that means she's a Democratic Socialist of America or just an old-fashioned DFL, or if there is such a thing. But she said something that makes me think that she, again, a pebble in my shoe is better than Oma Fatai. But Emily might have something going for her here. She said in reference to Fry, Koski said Fry has proposed the highest property tax levy increase the city has seen in over a decade, and she and the city cannot continue to balance its books on the backs of property owners and renters. She said Fry has no performance metrics and doesn't make tough decisions by examining what's working and what isn't. That's another way of saying there is too much these two city governments are involved in that can't be measured for any success, including virtually everything the absurd Minneapolis City Council gets involved with.
Right.
So maybe Koski's onto something. I don't know anything about her. She's married. She's got 2 kids. She's been in business. She's been a buddy of Fry, but she sees a room here for improvement, and I'm sure we'll learn more about Emily Koski as time goes by. Yes.
Let me read the last paragraph of her bio on the city government website.
Yeah.
In her second term, her top priorities include public safety, that's good, affordable housing and homelessness, general city services, and transportation and infrastructure. She's currently working on the South Minneapolis Community Safety Center, solutions to the homelessness crisis, law enforcement recruitment, hiring and retention, expanding the city's neighborhood traffic calming program, I'm again that, and more.
To the best of my knowledge, she's never been anti-police or defund the police.
Doesn't say what her political leanings here are.
Well, she described in the
We'll keep
literature I
digging.
read as a Democrat.
Okay, all right.
I mean, that's obvious. There
Yeah.
are no Republicans
Right.
in
Yep,
Minneapolis.
you're right. Yep.
You recall yesterday, I'm trying to remember how it came up. Oh, it came up because Bert told us about you can get a pirate's degree at
Yeah.
MIT.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we were wondering, does MIT have any sports teams? And then John Haidt said, yes, they do. And now Joel Maher in Grand Rapids writes, you and the boys were discussing MIT athletics. The conversation surrounding MIT's pirate certificate went sideways into questioning if MIT fielded athletic teams. As John discovered, there are many, and in fact, at one time, the Institute was second only to West Point in the number of intercollegiate teams. Wow. Not sure if that's still the case. I thought you might be interested in a bit of trivia. The stadium at MIT is named after Henry Steinbrenner, father of George Steinbrenner, who owned the Yankees. Henry was a 1927 graduate of MIT, majoring in naval architecture. In the mid-20s, he was the National Junior Amateur Athletic Union 220-yard hurdle champion and captured the high hurdles title at the Penn Relays in 1927. Not bad for a nerd. I enjoy the podcast every day. Keep up the good work, Joe in Grand Rapids. So there's a stadium at MIT named for Steinbrenner.
Wow.
Excuse me.
Joe, you're a
Mark that
man
one
of
down,
the
please.
seas.
Yes.
What is naval architecture?
How to build a ship.
Thank you.
Yep.
That was a test. You passed.
I thought it was how to pick your belly button. No. And where to place it and the logistics of
I thought it
what's
was
the protocol.
building a house that looks like a ship or building a boathouse.
Maybe the Trump administration can handle this. 6% of federal workers report in person on a full-time basis, with almost one-third of federal workers are remote on a full-time basis. That's a sharp turnaround from the pre-pandemic era when only 3% teleworked daily. This is a report from Senator Joni Ernst's office found. Ernst is from Iowa. She's long crusaded against the rise in remote federal work, is planning to reveal the fruits of her office's year-and-a-half inquiry to the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, or is it Doge?
Doge.
To co-heads Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy during their visit to the Capitol today.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Isn't it Vivek Ramaswamy?
Sure.
John, you're not even trying.
Ramaswamy.
Yeah, okay.
Ramaswamy.
I got you.
Ramaswamy.
I can't speak on on the behalf of all of us here working at Garage Logic, but I know at least two of us really seriously endorse working remotely.
Right.
I agree.
And we feel like it's saved our lives and our careers.
Yeah, but
Looking at the board, I wonder which two that is.
You're paying for this. The nation's capital is a ghost town with government buildings averaging an occupancy rate of 12%, Ernst wrote. If federal employees can't be found at their desks, where are they? President Biden is setting the example. He was out of office 532 days over the last 3 years, and about 40% of the time he was expected to be in the Oval Office. Her office collaborated with Open the Books, a nonprofit group that advocates for government transparency for taxpayers, and claims that the Biden administration redacted the work locations of over 281,000 rank-and-file federal employees.
Woo!
My God.
So your argument there, your comeback to me is you want me to know that it's costing me money?
Yeah. Leasing and maintenance costs for federal office buildings, as well as the tab to keep them running, is about $15.7 billion annually. Meanwhile, the government has ownership of about 7,697 vacant buildings and 2,265 that are somewhat empty, costing about $15 million for leasing and maintenance of underutilized space, according to her report. I'm going to hang on to this and go Doge. Go Doge.
My response is that of the Democrats. Happy to pay more for a better America.
Yeah.
There is one part of that
Now,
story,
yeah.
though, that I know you didn't include, but from Elon Musk, who the reason I found it is from his account.
Mm-hmm.
If you exclude security guards and maintenance, did you have that part in there? Because I don't think that was included in the
I
story.
didn't read. I for the sake of time, I didn't read you this 6-page Ernst report.
Joe, if
Thank
you
you.
exclude security guards and maintenance personnel, the number of government workers who actually show up in person and do 40 hours of work week is closer to 1%.
Really?
Wowsy.
It's just amazing how we've
John.
been taken to the cleaners. It
John,
really
you
is.
and I should get a job in government. That's,
Yes.
I know how
what
we could
that-
save this company money. Turn the freaking heat down.
Hey,
No,
now.
I'm enjoying the heat. I like the heat.
You don't have
touch
your
it.
shawl today.
Only because they come to us all the way from the Traveling Lymans in Cleveland, Ohio. It was on this day
On December 5th.
in 1853, and this is two birds with one stone. Henry M. Rice replaced Henry H. Sibley. Without Rice and Sibley and Fort Snelling, there would be no days in history in Minnesota.
Correct.
Henry M. Rice replaced Henry H. Sibley, who chose not to run for re-election as Minnesota Territory's delegate to Congress. Sibley had won the office by a narrow margin in a previous election following a heated campaign involving the fur trade business, with fur symbolized by Sibley and anti-fur by Alexander M. Mitchell,
Whatever.
the candidate supported by
What
Rice.
else? What else were there?
I don't know.
You know, fur.
On this day,
On December 5th.
in 1873, Lincoln County, named for the Civil War president, was created, having been established by the legislature on March 6 and approved by a vote of the people in November. 3 previous attempts to rename or carve out a county in honor of Lincoln had failed to garner the requisite popular vote.
Where is that?
Paro, Lake, Lake of the Woods, LeSueur, Lincoln, and Lyon.
Lincoln's
are
up
your
by
L
St. Cloud.
counties.
Up by St.
It's up
Cloud.
St. Cloud somewhere.
So you guys don't know.
I don't know where Lincoln County is.
I'll
I
look it
know
up.
the county names. I don't know where they are. Well, I know where a third of them are, but I don't know all of them. And finally,
The county seat is Ivanhoe. And keep going.
that
'cause
doesn't help me
looking
because
up
I'm
where
not
I'm
sure
at.
I know where Ivanhoe is.
Right up by St. Cloud.
Yeah.
Marshall Way.
Out Marshall Way?
Marshall Way.
Okay.
Ivanhoe is maybe halfway between Marshall. It's over there.
Thanks, Matt. Stop now.
Lincoln.
On this day,
Yeah.
December 5th.
and finally, I should say,
Yeah.
on this day,
Thank God.
December 5th.
in 1950,
1950.
a snowstorm lasting until December 8 dropped 35 inches on Duluth and 25 inches on the Twin Cities.
On this day?
On this day,
Interesting.
there was a snowstorm. This is the 5th. The snowstorm lasted until the 8th.
Holy mackerel.
And that was after in 1950, The record for Halloween warmth was established with I think it was about 72 in October 31, 1950.
Dang.
But strange weather only happens now.
Yeah.
It
This is
doesn't
the-
happen in any other time. And tomorrow, John's going to fill us in on the year 1939.
Yeah, already did some research on
Yeah,
that. It was kind
thank
of
you.
fun.
Wonderful.
I
Thank
already
you.
did some research on the snowstorm, too, and I just want to read this lead to you from the story about the snow.
yeah.
Through the billions of little wet white flying saucers that tumbled down this morning. That's all I got. I just thought that was,
Through the billions
Clever.
of little white flying saucers.
yeah, that's the
Well,
snow, of
A
course.
lot
We
of
wouldn't
li-
call them now. We
a
call
lot
them
of-
UI or
A
whatever.
lot of license was taken by your reporters back then. There's some good writing, and there was something like
Were
that.
they UFOs in the news at that period?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Kenneth
yeah,
Arnold was
sure.
1947. That was
Yeah.
the first big reporting.
Okay.
Was it 1947, Area 52?
One?
Area 51?
West of the Rockies.
I knew it was in the 50s.
Joe, west of the Rockies.
Thank you, GLers.
Thank you. Thank you, GLers. Hopefully this doesn't malfunction on me.
No.
Hey, GLers, you know what you should do? You should subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel, because on that channel, you can see us each and every single day at noon, and then you can see YouTube go haywire right in the middle of the program. It's fantastic. So make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube and join the thousands of GLers interacting with the show live each and every single day. It's fantastic. You can also follow us along on all of our social media channels, which includes Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or X, as Johnny Height likes to call it. And don't forget to sign up for the Daily Logician. It's an email. It comes right to your inbox each and every single day. It includes the most recent episode of the podcast and a weekly note from the mayor himself. And just in time for this holiday season,
What do you got?
GarageLogic.com, the Gumption County gift shop. It's right there. It's on the website. All sorts of t-shirts, hats, and sweatshirts. It's there for you. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Good